Hello, I'm Kristy Allen, and you're listening to the Tsunami of Truth broadcast here on jmcbroadcasting.com. Good morning, everyone. I'm sitting here recording this for you because life threw a classic 10:30 p.m. Sunday night curveball. My producer's quite literally heading out the door to fly to Japan, and we realized we needed one more episode locked down on the books before he left. So now I'm going to be completely honest with you. Last night I was going to tell you a cute story about how I turned off the news because let's face it, some of it is just infuriating, right? Like the No Kings protests that are supposed to be real. And because, I really wanted to do was just go bake banana bread to save my physical and mental sanity. But then I stopped myself because I realized I have a professional job to do. I'm here to bring you the news, not a baking show. And we're here to talk about what's really happening in our world today. And there's a lot to cover. So let's dive right into it. Yep, this past weekend we saw the highly publicized No Kings protest happening in cities across the country. And if you watch the news or scroll through social media, you saw thousands of people on the streets holding matching signs, chanting the exact same slogans, and feeling a massive sense of righteous energy. For many of the people out there standing in the crowd, it felt like a spontaneous, organic uprising of grassroots democracy. But I want to challenge you to look behind the curtain at how modern political movements actually work. When you see thousands of events nationwide with identical, professionally pre-printed signs, hardly any of them homemade, they're just stacked and shipped to cities before people even know what they're supposed to be mad about. That is not a spontaneous uprising. That is infrastructure. That is a highly coordinated professional industry backed by massive nonprofit networks and hundreds of millions of dollars in dark money. The people who walked into those rallies on Saturday looked around, saw the crowd, saw the slogans, felt the energy, and told themselves this was raw democracy. No kings. It sounded clean. It sounded righteous. It felt like they were part of something organic. But the signs were ready before the outrage was. And that reality should make all of us stop and think, because you're not living under a king. You're living in a constitutional republic with elections, term limits, and a press that has spent years attacking the most powerful figures in the country without consequence. No one is being silenced for dissenting. That is not tyranny. You're being trained to see normal functions of a country as authoritarian, and loving your country becomes suspicious. Wanting a secure border becomes immoral. Believing parents should have a say in their children's lives becomes dangerous. Asking basic questions about elections becomes taboo. Is that clarity or is it conditioning? Truth is, every country on earth does enforce its borders, and most require ID to vote. That's not controversial anywhere else. It's only controversial here because you've been told it should be, and you believed it. Meanwhile, look at the people who actually hold power and how long they've held it. We've got Steny Hoyer, 45 years, longer than Mao. Mitch McConnell, 42 years, 5 times more than Napoleon. We got Chuck Schumer, 46 years, longer than Stalin. And Nancy Pelosi, 39 years, longer than Henry VIII. Oh, don't forget Maxine Waters at 35 years, longer than Mussolini. Bernie Sanders, 35 years, triple Hitler's entire reign. That's what entrenched power looks like, people. Decades, not months, not a single term, decades. But you're told the threat to democracy is the outsider who disrupted that system for a brief window of time. You're told he is the king. No. What you're reacting to is not monarchy, it is loss of control. Do you hate kings or just the kings that are not yours? Because when power consolidates on your side, you justify it. A sitting president steps aside. Within days, a replacement is effectively crowned without a real context, without a meaningful debate, without voters having a say in a process that is supposed to belong to them. No primary, no debate, no ballot, and most said nothing. 3 days before you marched, lawmakers aligned with your movement and rejected voter ID requirements. And at the same time, you lived through a period where you had to show documentation to participate in basic parts of life. You needed proof to eat, to travel, to work. But asking for proof to vote is suddenly oppression. Look, what we're witnessing is a massive double standard in how logic is applied. Just look at the arguments surrounding election integrity. We just watched Congress get deadlocked over a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security because one side demanded strict voter ID requirements to protect our elections, and the other side refused. Think about that contradiction. Now, that should stop people cold. Instead, it gets waved away by the very Soros-type organizations funding these types of protests. Whew. Let's contrast all of that loud political noise with a beautiful story shared by Carrie Carwile. It comes from Dubai, and it really puts things into perspective, at least for me it did. Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince of Dubai, just issued a directive to the government to officially replace the title housewife with the term generation shaper. Wow, I love that. In all official government records and documents, it's going to be replaced wherever it says housewife. I love this so much because it acknowledges the power of language. Sheikh Hamdan pointed out that the word housewife only describes where a woman is, at home, but the term generation shaper perfectly captures what a mother actually does. They're raising the children, instilling values, teaching responsibility, and recognizing that the hand that rocks the cradle is building the absolute foundation for strong families and a strong society. It's not the first time Dubai has redefined language to match the value of the people it describes. In 2017, Sheikh Mohammed replaced people with disabilities with people of determination across all their official documents. And the response to this latest change has been overwhelmingly positive, with many calling it long overdue. I like people of determination. It's a beautiful reminder that language matters, and how we describe people frames how we value them, and it exposes the games being played back here at home. Because when political organizations hand you a sign that says "No Kings," they are using language to manipulate your emotions and get you to buy into a narrative. They're trying to shape your mind. And while we're distracted by these fights on the streets, the real work of protecting the world is happening behind closed doors. On the global stage, we're watching an incredibly high-stakes game play out with Iran. Just this morning, President Trump posted on Truth Social stating that the U.S. is in serious discussions with what he called a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations there. That's good news. Maybe it will just be weeks instead of months that it'll be over. He expressed massive optimism that a deal could be reached soon, but he also issued a stark warning. If a deal is not reached and the Strait of Hormuz is not open for business, the U.S. is prepared to target Iran's energy infrastructure. Let's hope it doesn't get to there. It is a high-tension reminder of just how fragile global stability is right now and how much weight sits on the shoulders of leadership. It circles back to the core point. True leadership is incredibly complex. It requires the strength to act, but it also requires the wisdom to know when to pause, negotiate, and protect the peace. Just giving peace a chance, right? It's not as simple as the catchy slogans presented on a printed poster. Liz Marion wrote a piece called Trump, Timelines, and the Illusion of Power. I loved it. It said, "The truth isn't what they told you. Many people look at Donald Trump and try to label him Antichrist, Savior, villain, hero. But the truth? Well, it's way deeper than that. Right now, truth is breaking through at maximum intensity. What you're witnessing isn't just one version of him. There might be multiple versions playing out at the same time. Different masks, different roles, different timelines, all overlapping, colliding, collapsing into one. He's a puppet to some, a disruptor to others, a symbol, a trigger, a mirror. Not the enemy, not the savior, a catalyst. And you're not watching politics. You're watching a war of timelines unfolding in real time. Some timelines show him tearing down corrupted systems, exposing what was hidden, triggering the fall of something dark and ancient. Other timelines, they keep the illusion alive, feed the system, recycle, control, fear, and distraction. Both exist at the same time. And here's the part most people don't realize. You choose which one becomes real for you. Not with your words, but with your frequency. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you feed. You're aligning yourself to a version of reality. Truth and inner knowing, or fear and programmed narratives. Timelines are collapsing fast now, faster than ever. And the only thing deciding where you land is the frequency you carry. There is a darker timeline, heavy, dense, controlled, built on corruption, hidden agendas, energy harvesting, a system that feeds on fear and keeps souls asleep. That path pulls you downward into lower states, lower awareness, lower vibration. But that's not the only option because, again, he is not the source. He is a character in the projection, a symbol in the dream, a frequency anchor, just like others. What you see on the screen isn't happening to you, it's reflecting you, showing you what you're aligned with, what you're feeding, what timeline you're choosing without even realizing it. Stay aware, stay grounded in truth. Refuse to feed fear loops, and something powerful happens. You begin pulling a higher timeline into your present moment, not waiting for change, but becoming the one who selects it. The collapse, it's already happening. The shift, it's already here. And this reality is nothing like what you were taught. There are deeper layers, hidden structures, and things most aren't ready to see yet, but some are waking up. Some are remembering. Not everyone will understand this. Not everyone is meant to, but those who feel it know. This isn't about worship. This isn't about hate. This is about awareness, because in the end, you are not choosing a person. You are choosing a timeline. And the moment you truly understand that, everything changes. Thanks, Liz. I needed that. So as we close out today's show, I want to challenge you to think about that phrase from Dubai, a shaper. You don't have to be a president or a crown prince to be a shaper of your world. And you certainly don't have to get swept up in the angry, loud headlines or the shouting matches on social media. Old Salty Marine posted, "What so many fail to understand is that MAGA is not about Donald Trump. MAGA is about America. We, the people, were searching for someone, anyone, willing to fight corruption and preserve freedom. We found that in Donald Trump. He is our voice. You see, he's not a cult. It's a revolution. Make America great again," unquote. So when you see people chanting about kings, understand what is actually being defended and what is actually being ignored. Ask yourself honestly where the patterns of control are showing up in our society, because the answer is not as simple as the slogan you are handed. You shape the future by how you treat the people around you, how you raise your children, and the values you choose to live by every day. Don't let a corporate-funded machine tell you what to be mad about. Stand on your own 2 feet, look at the facts, and decide to be a shaper of your own destiny. To Mike, my amazing producer, have a safe, wonderful trip to Japan. And to all of you listening, stay smart, stay sovereign, and I'll talk to you all next week. Thanks for listening to the Tsunami of Truth broadcast. I'm Kristy Allen here on johnmichaelchambers.com.
The Federal Reserve is no more a government agency than Federal Express. The Federal Reserve is a corporation founded and run by international bankers.
The Global Financial Reset is not just another podcast or episode of pertinent current discussions concerning economic-related issues. It's also an ongoing educational workshop series.
Join me and my prominent guests every Wednesday live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on JMC Broadcasting's backup Rumble channel on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Sign up for JMC's free weekly war report, including notifications of when the Global Financial Reset show is published. The future is bright, and it belongs to us, not to the global elite.
You can survive and thrive this reset transition, but it takes action on your behalf. The Global Financial Reset Workshop Series gives you the tools to get out of the system with confidence.